Drinking this album, listen to the brews. I think it would pair well, if only for you, cause it's album reviews. It's
Romans, make way. The good Andronicus, patron of value, Rome's best champion, successful in the battles that he fights, with honor and with fortune is returned, from where he circumscribed with his sword and brought to yoke the enemies of Rome. Welcome to Titus Andronicus for Brews. My name is Sarah.
I gotta follow that one. Here it goes. I've been called out, cuckolded, and castrated. My name's Zach.
Yay!
I was a river, I was a tall tree, I was a volcano, but now I'm just Garrison.
That was 100% mine.
Oh,
Shit!
You know, I will always be a loser, and that's okay. My name's Dan Stewart.
There it is. Thank you so much, Dan and Garrison, for coming on of the Chicago punk band Damager. Tell us a little about yourself, guys.
Yes, this is the voice of Dan Stewart speaking.
It's a great voice.
Thank you. I don't know if I'm going to put this much effort into it the whole time. Yeah, I sing and play guitar in Damager.
And I'm Garrison. Yeah, I play bass in Damager. Been playing with this guy over here with the deep voice for just over 2 years now, almost. Right?
Oh, right
It's
on.
crazy in total.
Since almost 2 years now.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't thinking about the extended timeline, the director's cut.
Yeah, Damager extended cut.
Yeah, because we've been playing live together since November of last year of 21, November 21. So almost a year of playing live together, and then the first recording and writing and playing together was at the end of 2020.
Yeah, it's been a process.
Yeah,
Right on. You guys both wrote King of Scots together?
yeah. We've been playing that. We've been playing those songs live, like basically since we've been playing.
Oh, wow. So it's a long time coming.
Yeah, I think the first time we played Dangerous Red at our first show.
Yeah. And then every show after.
And then we played it every show. The King of Scots, I think we played the first time back in February. And then, just like developing them as time has passed. And then we recorded them in May at Polar Bear Studios in St. Louis with our good friend Ryan Pollock, who produced it, engineered, mixed, mastered, the whole thing.
Very cool.
And for how many years have Can Crushes been happening?
The first one was when was your bachelor party? What was that?
A while ago.
That was what, 8? Was it like
Just over
April, right?
Yeah.
April of last year, April 21.
The year before? Yeah. Last year, right?
Yeah, because I remember I came back from Port Austin, Michigan.
How long have I been married for?
That's fantastic. And you guys got a show at Shuba's coming up.
Yes.
Not coming up now, but when this comes out, it will be coming up.
Absolutely.
Ooh,
November
little
28th.
insight into the process. Look at us recording ahead of time.
Shuba's Tavern, November 28th with Superkick and Nora Marks.
Very cool. We we were at this is where we met, the Nora Marks show at GMET Tavern. That was fantastic. So we're really stoked to go check you guys out again with Nora Marks.
Ooh.
The Chicago scene fucking rules. Welcome to the show.
It rips so good. And what are we listening to and drinking today?
We're talking about The Monitor by Titus Andronicus. And the beverage that we have selected for this particular album is Guinness. Wow, nice.
Oh,
Harmonies.
there you go, yeah.
We're in a band.
Work.
You guys do music.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I just spoke it. We can sing it next time.
Well, let's crack into them because they're not
Absolutely.
getting any
Excellent.
colder.
But don't we need to cheers?
You absolutely should.
Cheers.
So, is there anything beyond the lyrics that inspired this drink pairing?
I guess it's a feeling.
Yeah.
It feels like a Guinness.
Yeah.
You know what? I saw an Instagram story from Titus like a few years ago, and it was a picture of Patrick Stickles, the singer, in the location tag Glen Rockin', which I think is mentioned in Theme from Cheers, and he was drinking Guinness, and I was like, okay, this guy represents his thing. I think it's like, for me, it just reminds me of like pub culture and like something about like the Northeast, and it's a beer for like a real drinking time, you know, and there's like a lot of that going on in this record. It's robust and like, dark, and like there's something a little serious about it.
Yeah.
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 Are the members Irish at all?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Okay, there's a couple Irish jig themes in this
Yes.
album.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
much
That I
musically
enjoy a
and
lot.
lyrically.
I think Irish jigs and punk music goes together like two peas in a pod.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we're talking about the Monitor today. Tell us a little bit about what had the Monitor as your front runner to talk about on the show this week.
Well, for me, usually it's the album that I would usually respond to the question of what's your favorite album of all time.
Okay.
For one, but I think there's like a shared like deep appreciation for this band between us. Like the catchphrase in practice and in writing songs that we have is when we're talking about drum parts, we'll say do some Titus shit. Which is like drum rolls.
Yeah.
More
Snare rolls. Yeah.
Just pretend you're like leading a military march.
Yeah.
And you're there.
Is that throughout their discography or just this album? The drum rolls.
I think it pulls through, but it's definitely part of the thematic for this record in particular.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if that's like a thematic Civil War choice. They were like, hey, you know what they had in the Civil War? Like drum rolls.
Little guy on the drum.
Yeah, there's
Little
like
marching.
well, and it's also, I mean, there's also like a lot of like stuff in like 3/4 time, like
Oh, sure.
and I feel like that's all contributing to like this marching anthem quality that is like a part of all of the songs. And the thematic aesthetic of the Civil War.
Do you guys draw a lot of influence from this band in your writing?
I think so. Maybe too much.
Yeah. No, I agree.
We're on that type of shit.
We're on that Titus shit.
Yeah. Dan and I went to one of their shows together, actually.
Nice.
Yeah.
Where they were playing the Monitor all the way through. It was awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like one of the best shows I've ever seen.
It was a spiritual experience, I think.
Oh, man.
yeah.
For me, at least. And then I'd never seen the band in person before. I know Dan had seen them, but they brought like all the energy that you could imagine on the record.
We drank so much we don't tell the police, but we did pee in an alley after that. That's like how much we drank during the show.
I plead the fifth.
Yeah. But no, I'd seen them a handful of times.
Yeah.
4 now, I think. First time was on the Most Lamentable Tragedy tour, so that was like 2015 at Lincoln Hall.
Oh, nice.
And I was still living in, I guess I was, just entered college. But drove from St. Louis up here just for the night and drove back that night just to see them at
dang.
Lincoln
Shit.
Hall. And that was really awesome. That like they were like riding a pretty high, like a high for that, I think.
Yeah.
But then the next time I saw them was like 2017. It was when they were doing Productive Cough tour. So that was like I saw them at a venue with like 20 people.
Oh, I bet that hit.
Yeah, that was crazy. I got to meet Patrick Stickles afterwards because it was just kind of like a little, almost like intimate, more affair.
Yeah.
Just briefly. But then, seeing them upstairs Sub T last fall for the Monitor 10-year anniversary tour, and that was like it was sold out 2 nights. So it's like. Yeah. I sent you that article about where he's ranking his own albums.
Yes.
And there was a quote in there about like, if we ever do the album reunion tour, we need money. And I thought about that a lot.
That's what they're doing.
The second you said it, I was like,
Yeah.
interesting.
Well, it funded their next record, obviously. So.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. The new one is like very adventurous. And I could tell that it was like a passion like project that was funded by, the success of that tour.
And I feel like playing this album front to back, I mean, I had this in my notes, but like it almost felt like we talked about like Broken Bride by Ludo, which is totally different, but that's like a whole rock opera that they perform
A
front
whole
to back.
journey, yeah.
And I was like, this feels like that kind of epic, like there's like a reprise. It's like a whole sort of arc.
Yeah.
So to play it front to back, it makes so much sense.
No one's brought up Ludo in front of me in so long. That's
Welcome
hilarious.
to Album
You're
Bruce.
welcome.
I feel like I need to clarify my intro. I don't want to be pretentious on this podcast.
Never.
But Titus Andronicus is a Shakespearean tragedy. Dare I say Shakespeare's bloodiest work. So I just wanted to, introduce our show by giving the little prelude that is spoken before the titular Titus Andronicus comes on stage in his play.
Titus Andronicus is the name of the play and a character in it?
He's like the star.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
He's a big bad boy.
Are all Shakespeare's plays like that? Like Romeo and Juliet? He just
It's-
names them all after the person in it?
Hamlet.
Yeah. I'm sensing some common themes here, Shakespeare.
Yeah, learn to write.
Oh, he just had a formula and he just stuck with
just
it.
stuck
No
with it.
exploration at all.
Sounds like
He's like
we should-
Rivers Cuomo, you know. He found the song and he just keeps making it.
Yeah.
I did hear an interview with Patrick Stickles once where he said that he named the band Titus Andronicus because it sounded intellectualized, and
Yeah.
and that he was like. He's like, I wanted to impress people. Like, I mean, all of the song titles are Shakespeare, and like on the first album, there's a song called Albert Camus, and there's like,
Yeah.
you know, it's like it's clear what they're doing.
Absolutely.
And it works, I think. Like,
Yeah.
it worked for them.
I heard Patrick Stickles in an interview also like similar topic, but he was saying that he thought it would be something that would be more obscure at the time. People didn't really know. He thought they didn't know, and then
Right.
like apparently it got really popular over time, like more popular than they thought it would be, and then
Yeah.
he couldn't find himself on Google anymore. So it goes.
And there's that character on the Kimmy Schmidt show, Titus Andromedon.
Oh yes, and he sings the Pinot Noir song.
Yeah.
I love Titus.
There's a part in that play when they bake some people into a pie.
Oh, like the help. Just kidding.
Yeah.
That's poop.
She says, eat my shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which Patrick Stickles lyrically kind of weaves a lot of shit into this
Yeah.
album.
A pot in which to piss.
Yeah.
How much to piss. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a little bit perfect for this, not to be crass, but this album gets a little pee-pee poo-poo. But in kind of a delightfully
I'm all about it, yeah.
poetic way.
Never considered that.
It does get a little pee-pee poo-poo, but we're here for it.
Yeah.
If we ever meet him, we'll have to ask him about that one.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't think of a more perfect union than pee pee and poo poo.
You're so smart.
Yeah, which is the first track on this album.
It's so
A
fucking good.
more perfect union of pee pee and poo poo is the name of the track.
A more perfect union, parentheses, than pee-pee and poo-poo.
What are you guys' thoughts on this first track?
Yeah.
This is one of the greatest songs of all time.
I mean, I do agree.
Need I say more? So when they did the 10-year anniversary tour, they opened with like a few songs from other albums, and then they played The Monitor, and then for the encore they played this again.
Oh,
Yo!
that's how you know it's a good song.
Yeah,
That is powerful.
and we were like there for it. We were like, yes, I'm ready. Like that opening of the like, there'll be no more counting the cars on Georgia State Parkway. Like, I mean, it hits so hard.
Yes.
And there's like that the whoa 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 part. You got to have a good whoa 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 here and there.
Mm-hmm.
We have
Someone sing it?
Well, we can listen to it.
We live. We will live forever. Or die by suicide.
we started a whole band trying to just be this
Yeah.
song.
There'll be no more counting the cars on the Garden State Parkway. No waiting for the front wall bus to carry me to who knows where. And when I stand tonight near the lights of the Fenway, when I yell like hell for the glory of the Newark Bears. 'Cause where I'm going to now, no one can ever hurt me.
We'll come back and more because I've got the most timestamps for this song than all the
It's
other
so
ones.
fucking good.
I re-listening to it like a few days ago. I was like, this song never seemed that long to me, but listening to this, like, I was like, oh wow, this is like a 7.5 minute song.
Yeah.
And it's all good. And it's like, there's a lot of this on this record of like, it's a really long song, but it's like a suite, you know, and there's
Yes.
like so many melodic ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is like my favorite thing about them is that they're so creative with structure and with having new melodic ideas enter and leave and return. And this is like one of the best examples of it.
Yeah, I saw the track listing and I was like 7 8-minute songs. That's not very punk rock of them, right?
Yeah.
but each song is actually like 3 short songs.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I was like, there's the punk rock. There it is.
Well, what I like about the lyric right away is it kind of sets a location for the whole record, or like a sense of feeling and like location, I suppose. I just like, it's so freaking cool. And then you probably have this listed, but it's like, baby, we were born to die, or something like that.
Yes.
Like, it's just such a badass way to like finish that verse and to get into like the killer guitar riff that
And
just like splinters out of there.
energy that it's like
Yeah.
delivered with. It's like, we were born to die. Like,
Yeah.
I had never listened to this album. For this podcast, it was the first time I'd ever listened to this album.
Nice.
And this intro track got me fucking
Hyped.
pumped, dog. Like, I was so excited to get into the rest of it. Just based off
Here's
this.
that Baby We Were Born to Die.
The world where I'm looking for a New Jersey. 'Cause trans like us, baby, we were born to die.
Bitch,
That's a great guitar lick.
yes.
Yeah, I mean, how does it sounds like it's from the Civil War. That's the crazy. It sounds like bagpipes or something crazy. Like it's just the
Thin
feel
Lizzy.
of it.
It's like Thin Lizzy guitars.
Yeah.
Yes.
Two guitars playing like the same thing.
A little out of phase kind of.
Yeah, those lines. There's where I'm going tonight. Where I'm going to now, no one can hurt me. Where the well of human hatred is shallow and dry. I've always felt like that was like one of them. Like he's basically saying we're about to party. Like
Yeah.
we're gonna rock, but in the most like beautiful way imaginable. And I was like, this is the greatest lyricism. Like that kind of stuff really affects me profoundly.
Yeah.
And it's like all through this album. Like it's the I don't know, like the glamorization or glorification of like simple concepts.
Yeah.
And like punk rock for me is like that's what it's all about. And when we get to No Future Part 3, I think that's maybe one of the best examples of it. But yeah, and then also Tramps Like Us, Baby We Were Born to Die, Springsteen.
Come on.
You gotta love it. You
Come
know, New Jersey, you gotta get out
Yeah,
of
they
here.
reference Springsteen a couple times in the lyrics too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're Jersey boys.
Yeah. They got it.
But there is sort of a thread woven throughout thematically.
The Civil War
Yes, sir.
and partying.
And partying.
Two things that go great together. Yeah.
I wonder what the Venn diagram, what the center of that Venn diagram looks like.
Between the Civil War and partying.
Yeah.
I think just alcohol.
Waking up and vomit? I don't know.
I want to find a quote from that Patrick ranks his albums thing because it was
Yeah.
actually very illuminating. He says a lot in this interview about him ranking his own albums, about how much he has like disdain for this record.
Yeah.
And that it's like his like negative relationship with it, because he says like it's the one that they'll mention in my obituary, and like the one I'll always be compared to it. He says it's kind of ironic because the big theme of the record is the way people tend to define themselves and their view of the world in opposition to something else. They define themselves by a negative association with something they want to be in opposition to. How funny that all my subsequent records are falling to the same fate when I was trying to warn everyone against that. It's like, I guess you identify yourself by what you hate.
Right.
This album is like literally about an internal war, the Civil War being America's internal war, but
Yeah.
for him it's like a manic depression or a bipolarity. And he's like offering this statement about dealing with yourself and how you define yourself by this quality. And I think for me, I just like that really resonates with me, and in like a very emotional way. What do you think?
That's beautiful, Dan.
You're here.
I like that deeper metaphor about the Civil War. I didn't really catch that at first. But like, yeah, it is an internal war, like all these other things. That's neat.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think the band set out to make a statement about the Civil War.
No, not at all.
It's a metaphor.
But I also think he was totally continuing to do the thing of like, I called it Titus Andronicus because it sounded smart.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm going to write about the Civil War.
Because it's eyebrow.
I think he probably watched Ken Burns movies and then was
Yeah.
like, wow, cool.
Hell yeah. Let's cite our sources.
There is something neat about pitting political speeches and song. Like, right? It happens all the time. It's just kind of like a neat thing to do, I think.
He also says something about the whoa 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 section in this song, which of course it's amazing. Like I think people look down upon like intentional hooks a little bit too much. He criticized it. He's like, that whoa 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 stuff, I'm not trying to be the Lumineers. He's like, I don't want this song to be playing at grocery stores or whatever. And I'm like, oh, come on, man. It's so cathartic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, this does not sound like the Lumineers.
No, obviously.
Literally at all?
Where's the Lumineers Pee Pee Poo Poo album?
Thank you. Thank you. That's what I've been saying. It's time we bring that to the people.
You're swinging pretty wide of Lumineers territory. There's not a hey or a ho in this whole album. want to chug a beer and mosh to that.
Yes.
Yeah, we've done that.
We did it.
I'm very jealous.
We have thoughts and prayers going out that they come to Chicago on the next tour.
Yeah, Patrick, if you're listening, book that damn
Please
show.
book
Please.
Damager to open for you.
Oh yeah, we want to open for you too.
Manifesting.
Yeah, we'll make it happen.
Putting it into
Well,
the
we're gonna
ether.
tag them in the Instagram post, so
Yeah.
their
Nice,
social
nice.
media manager will see this.
We have a lot of pull.
Patrick, get over here. You have to see this.
Guys, album reviews tagged us.
4 drunk people made jokes talked about your album. Here's a fun fact about the third verse from Genius.com, my favorite internet place.
Lay it on me.
So the third verse, correct me if I'm wrong, is a little bit about the drive he took one time.
Oh, I'm doing 70 on 17. That one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Someone on Genius.com put together a Google Maps ride that you can go take that same drive.
Hell yeah.
Yo!
And it's beautiful. I took it on Google Maps.
I thought you drove to Jersey.
No. I just saw the drive.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that doing 70 on 17, 80 over 84, like 17 and 84 are highways.
Yeah.
Okay. In New Jersey or
makes sense.
Massachusetts or wherever that is.
Huh. That's a fun fact, Zach.
Yes.
Well, we got to go buy our plane tickets, fly out there,
Fly out there, take the drive.
pause the podcast.
Do the Perfect Union Drive. Yeah.
Bring a flag to rally around.
Mm.
Hey guys, welcome to my Perfect Union speed run. I'm playing 70 on the 17.
Currently doing 70.
Frame perfect strat. You got to really concentrate for it.
Did you guys recognize the rally around the flag melody? Have you guys heard that one before?
I hadn't.
It's like one of those things that it's like this sounds catchy like immediately, like I feel like I know it, but I'm not sure what it comes from.
Yeah.
It is actually an old Civil War song from the time period. It's written in 1862 by American composer George Root.
Come on, George.
But let me find it real fast. I'll find
Yeah,
the
let's do
old
the OG.
recording. The OG, yeah.
Is George Root want like co-writer credits on this?
It's probably public domain. I don't know how far away 1862 was.
If not public domain, certainly fair use.
Certainly fair use.
We just have to comment on it.
The Trust of Root would be a really good band name.
Oh no.
Yo!
Very Lumineers-y.
No, I think that sounds like a bad prog metal band. The Trust of Root.
Trust root.
And they don't play it. They only play the root of each chord. It's just all
Yeah.
simple that stuff.
Oh, hell yeah.
just trust the root.
We'll rally around the flag, boys, rally once again, shouting the battle cry of freedom.
Wow.
I've heard this.
Yeah, it's in movies and stuff.
Yeah.
It's really popular.
That's crazy.
And they the printing presses couldn't keep up with demand for the sheet music for this song
Wow.
when it came out. Yeah.
I heard that in when Titus Andronicus was practicing this song, writing it, they would say, do some root shit.
And let's hear their version of that, which I think is a little more exciting.
It would probably be a little more fun to mosh to.
A little more. You can mosh.
Oh, yeah.
You can mosh to anything if you try
Yeah.
hard enough.
Give me enough Guinness and I'll
Those root shows used to go crazy.
ye oldie pit.
We got some sheet music in the back.
Betsy Ross designed our merch. It's fucking lit, guys.
Some guy loses like his powdered wig. Someone's just holding it up next to him.
I want to see this movie. I want to see the Civil War America punk show movie.
Yeah.
It's a great crossover.
I think we have to make it because I cannot for the life of me think of someone else who would want to besides us in this room, in this safe space.
So yeah, I think you're right, Dan. Greatest song ever written.
Yeah.
One of them, at least. At the very least.
Certainly one of the greatest openers, period.
Totally.
I think an opening album track is obviously so important. This one.
Yeah. The other best songs are all the other songs on this record.
Yeah.
That is an excellent point.
And King of Scots by David.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Fuck your catalog. These are the best.
Speaking of your catalog, did this next track inspire the name for Elizabeth Forever?
Kind of, yeah. I definitely wanted. Well, so I wrote that song several years ago, and it was just called Elizabeth, and we recorded it a few different ways a while back. And what I did was, because there's also a song on their first album called Heaven Going, and that was just called Heaven Going, and then I retitled it Heaven Going Again. And then on this one, I was like, I'm going to retitle this, and I thought Elizabeth Forever, like I think is a subconscious rip of a Titus Andronicus style title, you know? But also it kind of fits with the lyrics of that song, because it's about like I wrote it about a tombstone that I saw, and the name was Elizabeth Sweet. Sweet also a song.
Yeah.
By,
yeah.
But
Clean take.
yeah. And I was like, that's just like a really pretty name. And my mind kind of wandered to like, I'm trying to imagine like what this person was like, and what their life was like. So that was kind of what the song was about.
Very cool.
That's lovely.
And so there was the idea was Elizabeth Forever, because we were like talking about the legacy and the story. But yes, totally just ripping off the Monitor. So,
Exposed.
yeah.
It's a great second word for it. You could do any song name like that, right?
Yeah.
Used to ask Dan, I'd be like, Dan, what are you up to? He goes, oh, I'm just walking the graveyard. All right.
Do not put down on walking around in the graveyard. It's very peaceful and beautiful, and it's a good place to just,
Meditate.
Yeah, meditate.
We're in like prime graveyard season right now, also. I mean, we're recording this in mid-October.
Under what context?
It's gorgeous.
to like steal a body?
No,
Okay.
no.
Just to walk in.
To
walking.
respectfully walk in the graveyard.
That's true. The trees are all changing colors.
Get your ass over to Graceland Cemetery. Take a walk.
Graveyard Season is a band name, or could be. you
Oh,
know?
Oh, yeah.
Like that?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
that's gonna be our goth side project.
Make sure you stick around for graveyard season from St. Louis.
I feel like this one has a melody. Is this one has a melody that's too Lumineersy or no?
This one I thought was interesting because, okay, so I think we said this off air. Did we say this on air? I think we said this off air. But some of these songs have sort of extended or alternate titles that aren't listed everywhere. So this one is called Titus Andronicus. That would be an amazing drag queen name. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Titus Andronicus Forever, or Theme from the Monitor. So when I was listening to this one, like under that context, I thought this would be like the most badass like title sequence for like a sitcom. Like
the hosts are just like popping out. behind doors.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like Patrick. And he like crosses his arms and he's being silly. But yeah, this one's like one of the shorter ones. Obviously like pretty repetitive, very catchy. It's like ba 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 ba. It felt like a theme song.
Yeah. I mean, that's just like 3 refrains in a row, right?
Yeah.
This is the one with the sax and piano stuff too, right? Because
I think that's the
reprise
reprise
version.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do blend together for me a little bit, but
Yeah.
the enemy is everywhere.
Yeah.
Actually, that's kind of what I love about the record, though, is that every song you can like listen to it, and I don't know when a song ends. Almost just like I listen to the whole thing and all the way through every time I listen to it. Which I guess is kind of nerdy, but it's like the way that I feel like it's supposed to be listened to.
Absolutely.
Totally.
I feel like Patrick was talking about that in the interview that you mentioned when he like ranks on all his albums, where it's like kind of important to him that people are listening to his records like in their full context.
Yeah.
Because like, things are sequenced in a certain way for a reason, or like things are included or excluded for art and art's sake.
Yes. It feels like everything was a purposeful decision.
Totally.
Yeah.
Right.
What an ambitious album in general.
Yes.
So I don't know if you got a chance to check out that documentary, but it really like was wild to me to realize that he was 24 when he made this album.
Yeah. They look so young in the documentary.
Yeah.
Fuck, I'm 24 now. Shit. We really better take off with this show, man.
Yeah, that documentary is really cool, and it's really interesting to see, like, because it would have been probably like 6 or 8 years, or maybe or so before he did the interview article the Vice article that we're referencing about him ranking the albums. But he's so like, I feel like they're all very they're still ambitious, but also like he says a lot of stuff about like, this is a choice I'm making to be a rock star, I guess. This is going to be crazy. Like, I don't know about this. And, like, there's a lot of anxiety in it.
Yeah, they're reading a record contract, and he's like, throughout the universe? What does that mean?
In perpetuity. Ugh.
There's a lot of good one-lines in that documentary.
Yeah, he's funny.
My favorite is when one guy plays a guitar note, and he plays like a weird chord, and he's like, weird chords? We're not Modest Mouse. Get out of here.
We'll link the documentary in this episode description because I think it's a fun watch. It's like less than an hour, and if you or someone you love is an independent musician, there's a lot that you can like probably relate to. Like it's just it's a bunch of dudes on the road and they're like sleeping in a barn trying to fucking record their album. And what I said to Zach off air was like, I'm so curious who we're having on the show who like will go on to be the Titus Andronicus.
Oh yeah.
Because we talked to a lot of bands and a lot of people are like in that space right now where like the van's breaking down and they're like pissing in the yard while they're recording an album, and it's just like a bunch of rinky dink.
Yeah, but they've got that same heart and that same hustle.
They've got the heart, they've got the chops. I don't know. It's kind of an inspiring watch knowing what happens next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get another drink.
Go for it, King.
Yeah, so No Future Part 3, the next song on the monitor by Titus Andronicus.
Escape from No Future.
Oh, Escape from No Future, the full title.
That one's like that one's listed. That one I knew about. It's not one of these secret titles that they have.
Yes.
Ooh.
There's a colon. It's like you can see it on a movie poster.
Mm-hmm. They did No Future Part 4 on the Most Lamentable Tragedy
Oh,
album.
they did?
Yeah.
They did No Future and No Future Part 2 on the first album.
Those bitches.
We gotta do that. We gotta do one of those. We gotta do a
gotta
sequel
keep
song.
going.
That's kind of
Liquor Song
fun.
2.
Are they all in
Yeah.
like the same key or anything, or is it just
They're
the same
they're
story?
very different songs.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what though? I respect that. It's kind of like you know how the 1975, like every opener on every album is always just titled the 1975.
Oh, yeah.
And they all sound so different.
They should just do the 1975 Part 2.
No, let's write a song called the 1975.
Yes, here we go. Here we go.
That would be hilarious.
That would be really funny. That has to be the opener of your next album. Like,
You think I won't?
We should.
welcome to Album Reviews. We play chicken.
So this was your intro with the mountains and the volcano.
Yes.
Is this one special to you at all, Garrison?
Yeah, because we play it.
Oh,
Oh, shit.
We perform it. And I think, too, it's just like the most cathartic of all the songs for me, I guess. I don't know about you, Dan, but just like something about the lyrics like reminds me about like growing up.
Yeah.
And it's kind of talking about like the way that I felt. I think a lot of most kids feel at some point in their life as being like the outsider
Yeah.
and being the loser.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the song is definitely deeper about that and thinking about like what Patrick Stickles went through to write the song, the whole record in general. Pretty deep stuff.
Yeah. There's a lot of like dissatisfaction, I guess, as a theme on this album. Either like with yourself or with your circumstances. Just being like, look at me, I'm surrounded by horse shit. Sometimes literally.
Yeah. It was funny because we played this song for the first time at a show at a DIY venue, and I had some friends go who had not heard Titus. I don't think they'd be Titus people. But we left afterwards like, what was that song? I thought it was really disturbing. Like the lyrics were really disturbing. And I was like, oh, that song rocks. Sorry, it means a lot to me. So I was like very defensive. I think I maybe upset them, but like it's just I mean like some people can't connect with that maybe because they never experienced it. But I think a lot of people who did, if you haven't heard this song or this record, I would like recommend taking a listen.
Yeah.
Oh, totally.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the most important songs of theirs for me. It like Garrison said, it reminds me of my coming of age, that my being 16, 17 when I discovered this band, and my two favorite albums were this one and Pinkerton. I mean, like it was just like, this like this angst and just you said dissatisfaction, and it's like it again, like I said earlier, the lyrics that totally, I don't want to say intellectualize, but turn these like very raw feelings into literature and seems to like ground them and like validate. And in particular, you know, the refrain of this song, that you'll always be a loser and that's okay.
Yeah.
Like that is the ultimate cathartic statement, you know.
Yeah.
It's when we play that, I have such a good time, and it's like, yeah, it's kind of a spiritual experience. Like at our the last time we played it at G-Man in September, there were some guys there who had never seen us before. I don't know necessarily why they were there. Maybe they were there to see Superkick, but like they were definitely fans of Titus, and they went nuts for it. Like when we started playing it, because I didn't introduce it, except for I think I just said, it was also my birthday show. So I was like, I'm going to pick the cover tonight, you know? So I said, the next one's like one of my favorite songs ever. And then we played it, and these guys just went nuts, started a pit, and just like had a good time. And I was like, wow, this is crazy, because this is what we did at the Titus show, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, it was a very like kind of, and it's funny because I love playing it, but it also feels like cheating because it's such a good song. Like we cheated our way to getting people to mosh. But yeah, I mean, like just the lyrics all throughout. There's like, you know, I was a river, I was a tall tree, I was a volcano, and I don't know. There's the line about there's a faceplate all brown and red that stretches across for my mouth, one for protection, nobody gets in and nobody gets out. And I remember, I don't know where it was, but he explained that was about his beard.
Oh, he's got a great beard.
Yeah, but there was a period where he did not have one during the local business era, and he also like says a lot of awful things about that in his article.
Yes,
but he talks about the beard being like a sense of protection. It's like a thing that he's like really self-conscious about his face, and there's a lot of talk about eating disorders and his body and stuff in other lyrics. And I just felt like that was a very personal sentiment. And even if you didn't necessarily know that that's what it was about, I think it like just translates. I don't know. There's a lot of those lyrics on this for me.
Totally. I think there's two. I mean, building on what Dan was talking about, there's kind of this like thread of throughout the whole record, because he talks about like, I think it's later in the record, but talking about like regurgitating what you see on TV. And there's a line in here about being like brainless and feeling like numb. I think there's a sense of that too. It was like, am I in control of my own life, or like what is driving me? And kind of understanding yourself and self-expression too, I think are like really big themes that pulled through for me. So Dan heard this record when he was a teenager, and I heard it for the first time actually after moving to Chicago out of college. I had never heard the record before. And a buddy of mine showed it to me, and I just remember listening to it like 10 times, being like, holy shit. It just like really struck me. And it was like something that I wish I could have shown myself when I was a teenager. So yeah, it was just, I don't know, an amazing experience. Then like too, I felt like being in Chicago, it's not an East Coast city, but it certainly kind of has that feel, especially in the winter.
Yeah.
It's like very gray. And I think this record was one of those things that got me through some of that. So
It's a good fall record for you.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
There's a line in here that I like a lot. I didn't know what it was at first, my first listen. The line is, I have surrendered what made me human. My first listen, I thought it said, I have surrendered one baby human. Because there's a line about a volcano earlier. I'm like, wow, this is some really dark shit. I'm like, what is this metaphor for?
Christ.
But the correct lyric is really nice.
I would just like to say, like, for posterity's sake, for legal reasons, we are not insinuating that Titus Andronicus dropped a baby into a volcano.
Nor are we
Or wrote about
recommending
it.
anyone to do that.
Yeah.
Also, the lyrics very dark, but as of 2022, our man Patrick Stickles just got married. And the new album has a lot more like optimistic lyrics, I think. So that's a nice
yeah,
arc.
it definitely feels that way.
Yeah.
I would be excited to see this man write about being in love.
Yeah, I hope the
sounds
next album
beautiful.
is like his like really happy like actually, because like I think there's a lot of lyrics on the new one, which is called "The Will to Live." So take that, you know, as you will. But there's a lot of like optimistic stuff about like believing in God. Actually,
Sure.
yeah, it's like it's very interesting. I've listened to it like 2 or 3 times, and it's very dense. Like it's like a 60-minute guitar solo, but it's like crazy. But like but there's a lot of like really interesting like turns of opinion and mindset on it, and so that's a kind of fun arc to see.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always cool to kind of see artists evolve, right?
Yeah.
Because 24, now that I'm a man approaching my 30s, 24 is like a baby. Sorry, Sarah.
It's okay. Moose is the youngest one in the room.
I'm like, wow, you got so much time for activities. So he was 24, so he's what, 36 now?
That seems right. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, your perspective changed. 12 years is a long time for you to experience life.
And it's crazy to have like very public capsule of that in like your discography and your lyrics. Like someone could literally do, oh, I guess we're kind of doing that. Like go back and be like, oh wow, this was your mindset at the time. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I feel that about like my music a lot. The first Damager record, Best Team in Baseball, that was all stuff I recorded at home alone. And then when I started playing with Garrison and Adam and they working out the songs with them, like it's like so obvious the difference in songwriting and like how things are. Because like so many people have come up to me and be like, dude, Garrison's bass riffs on this EP are so good.
Hell yeah.
And or like, you know, for me, I'm like, whenever I listen to it, I'm like, Adam's drumming is insane.
His drumming is insane.
Oh shit.
He's so good.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, not everybody can do Titus shit,
Nope.
but our man, drop of a hat.
Yeah. Literally one take.
Dang.
Yeah, literally one take on Can Crush. That's one take.
Yeah.
Shit.
And there's some real Titus shit in there.
There's definitely some Titus
Was
shit.
that on his resume? Quote Titus shit.
It will be now.
Good.
Exactly.
Under like skills and qualifications. Did they ever do a Richard the First?
No.
Damn.
That's another Shakespeare reference.
I don't know about this one. What is the reference?
I believe because he Shakespeare, Mr. Shakespeare.
William Bill.
Bill. He wrote like a bunch of plays for and about kings.
Sure.
And they were just Richard the First, Richard the Second.
Right.
Yeah. And I believe that there's a Timothy Chalamet film that adapts these plays.
Is there?
It's called The King. It's
Oh.
on Netflix. Speaking of which, King Scott's now streaming.
Thank you. Link in description.
Link in description.
Lincoln bio.
Lincoln
Ooh.
bio.
Speaking of Lincoln, the beginning of this song is a piece of writing from Abraham Lincoln. I remember.
it?
Yeah.
Soon you'll be
shit.
burning orphanages down.
That
line?
I'm the most miserable man living. If what I feel were equally distributed to the whole human family, there would not be one smiling face on earth. Abraham Lincoln, letter to John T. Stewart, January 1841.
Oh yeah, I did read that.
And I remember like learning that when I was a teenager and being like, Lincoln was sad? Why? I was like, because like all I ever imagined was him just walking around in a top hat and like,
Right.
having a good time.
Yeah.
But I guess this was in reference to like losing something. I mean, Lincoln lost a lot of elections before he was president.
Yeah.
I don't know. He was bummed out about something for sure.
He had a lot to be bummed out about.
Yeah, because then there was like that. What is that? Civil War.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll put a damper on
Yeah,
you.
They had one of
that
those.
sucks. If Lincoln had a Twitter, he would write some wild stuff.
If Lincoln had a therapist.
Okay, here's how historians interpret this letter. Lincoln went crazy for a week or so.
Real.
This is how historians interpret this. This is on housedivided.dickinson.edu. So it's historians. He was engaged to marry Todd, but in love with Miss Edwards, and his conscience troubled him dreadfully for the supposed injustice he had done and the supposed violation of his word with which he had committed. So it sounds like he was in some like love triangle stuff.
Oh.
He was a tall,
Handsome.
Drink of water.
Yeah.
Tall drink of water.
Good. I don't know how to get back to that after that one. So Richard II, still good. Good guitar solos in this one.
Yeah.
And a nice drone. Who doesn't like a good drone at the end of a song? Especially when it goes into the next song nicely.
Oh, I do want to start my pee pee poo poo counter
Yes,
for
please.
this album. Cameron, can we get a ding for our first pee pee poo poo lyric? I will not deny my humanity. I'll be rolling in it like a pig in feces because there's no other integrity in awaiting the demise of our species. First poop lyric.
And it hits hard
Feces.
too.
Yeah.
Woof.
But we said this earlier, like it doesn't feel like gross or like a parody of a song. Like it's very poetic poop.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm here for it.
A pig in feces like gives you an image.
Yeah.
Right. More than saying pig and poop.
Right.
And it also rhymes with species really nicely.
Yeah.
It's a good rhyme.
So this is like the middle of the album, and I really felt like listening back in prep for this, I was like, man, the pacing on this album is very strange because there's 2 8-minute songs in the middle, but like we were talking about earlier, they are also like songs that have like many parts to them, and this being the first one.
Yeah, because would you consider the second half like when that drone starts?
I think like it's like 3 acts. It's like the first 3 songs, and then the middle 2 songs, and then theme from Cheers till the end. And Battle of Hampton Roads, I think, like I've got the vinyl copy here. I'm pretty sure it's just its own side.
Oh,
Like
shit.
it's just its own side.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
As
Well,
it
yeah,
should
that
be.
one's how long? That one's like...
It's like 14.
12,
14.
Yeah. Yeah.
We gotta cover that, dude.
Dude, I'm 100% down. We should write a
Didn't we like
15-minute
literally
song.
try? Didn't we pull it up at one point in practice and like see if we can play that little like guitar solo riff?
You could do like, you know how people do like a Halloween set where they dress up and perform as Titus Andronicus. Let's go to Party City. Let's get you a beard.
And the like the Union jacket.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
The problem is that there's only 3 of us and there are like 7 people in this band
That's true.
most of the time.
We could get you some mannequins.
The fact that we can pull off that one song is already like
Yeah.
we always choose to cover songs by bands that have way more people in them. Like we have covered Springsteen, famously not a small band.
Yeah.
You know.
4 guitar parts, probably, right?
Yeah. That's cool. I'll play the chords.
Yeah. There you go.
What was the band called earlier? The Root, the only Roots or what?
Trust
what was
of
it?
the Root?
Trust of the Root.
Oh, Trust of the Root.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to take this drone into the beginning of A Pot in Which to Piss because I think this is an excellent transition.
Yes.
So we're still in Richard II. And now we're in A Pot in Which to Piss.
Can I make a proposition?
Yeah.
So, like, we know the drone tone. Could you pull up Ribs by Lord real quick?
Yeah.
Because it also starts with a drone. I was thinking about making a 2-song playlist that is just...
Just those 2 on repeat.
Yeah, it's just those 2 and they crossfade into each other.
Oh, I have
DJs
those.
out there, you have your assignment.
Yeah, you know what to do now.
Yes.
Oh, so I was thinking of Pot in Which to Piss and 407 of the 2 8-minute songs. Richard II is still probably, what was that, 4 or 5 minutes?
It's
So long.
5:06,
Yeah.
according to my notes. Oh, and this one has a bonus Jonas title. Would you like to hear it? It's Richard II or Extraordinary Popular Dimensions and the Madness of Crowds, parentheses, Responsible Hate Anthem.
I love that.
That's some real Fall Out Boy shit.
Yes, very much. Very much. Zach, how's your Fall Out Boy fall going?
That's fantastic. Yeah.
We're doing a thing called Fall Out Boy Fall where during fall we listen to
We
Fall
just
Out
bring
Boy a
back
bunch.
Fall Out Boy.
Just bump their numbers a little.
We need it.
Give the boys a boost.
Local boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pete Wentz comes over every once in a while.
What do you think his album Rebrew would be?
Pete
Wentz.
Wentz.
Yeah.
I feel like he would do some he's famously bisexual. So I feel like he would do like a Carly Rae Jepsen or like a Madonna. I feel like he would pick a diva.
You think you'd pick a Bowie?
I could see a Bowie.
I want a Bowie on the pod. And I want Pete Wentz to do it.
Yeah. Should I email him?
Yeah.
Hey girl.
It's always worth a shot.
But what would he pair it with? Barefoot Moscato? I don't know what Pete Wentz would drink. He'd probably be like, can I have some Grey Goose
I
and soda?
read his book in like 2015.
He has a book?
Yeah.
I was deep in the Fall Out Boy trenches and I did not know that he had a book.
It's not very good. I don't remember
Yeah,
anything about it.
that's okay.
His book is called Bowie and Barefoot.
That's our next podcast. That is our next podcast.
Okay. I'm glad we're recording on this because all these ideas are gold.
I know. TM. No one steal this shit.
Yeah. What do you guys think about this track, A Pot in Which to Piss?
There are some incredible moments on this one. My favorite, like another like passage that I really love from like just stands out to me for the whole album is also another the piss line.
Can we get another ding on the pee pee poo poo counter real quick? Thank you, Cameron.
Like 5 of them on the song.
Which you the part I like is I've been called out, cuckolded, castrated, but I survived. I'm covered in urine and excrement, but I'm alive.
Yeah.
That it's delivered in such a like a cathartic way. The poetic pee-pee or poetic poop or whatever. It's I love it. This is also the one with the woo.
Yeah.
So ethereal.
Yeah, God, that sounds so cool. He uses some good alliteration on here. And debased, defaced, disgraced, and destroyed. Most of all, disappointed, I say atop this mountain as I urinate into the void.
As I urinate into the void is gorgeous.
It's beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
Shakespeare would be proud.
Shakespeare has nothing on this.
No wonder Dan and I had to use the bathroom so bad after seeing this show.
an alley in which to piss.
Yes.
Alley in which to piss.
There's also a line about a urinal. So
Here are those oohs because I love them so much.
Oh, yes.
some Adam White drumming there, some Titus shit.
It's like a gallop.
Yeah.
Some surf rock style.
Yeah, come on.
Out of context, like that almost doesn't even fit with the rest, but it also does. Like when you hear it in context.
Well, there are a couple moments like that on this album, which I think makes it like a very interesting potpourri of an album. Like, there's like a big ass like saxophone solo later,
Which is great.
We get like we don't get like jazzy, jaunty saxophone. I don't think at all before that, or like this like surfy ass like who's the person who wrote the Baywatch rock and roll lick?
Dick Dale.
Thank you. There's like this Dick Dale ass guitar.
Yeah.
I actually know Dick Dale.
You know Dick Dale? What?
Personally, yeah.
Whoa.
He manages my estate.
Oh.
He's dead now.
I have a Ouija board.
Unsolicited Dick Dale pics. Dick Dale riffs.
From the dead.
That would be a great song title. Unsolicited Dick Dale riffs.
Dick Dale pick would be a good band name.
Yeah.
We are really like
content.
this is really delicious.
I'm looking at the lyrics in the vinyl centerfold here, and this one has two sections for this song. So I think the ooh woo woo part is the middle of the song, and the first section is called Theme from the Drunk and Alone on Valentine's Day EP.
Oh.
He was so real for that.
And the second part is called From a Brooklyn Vegan Comment Thread. Because after that's when the piano comes in and becomes really like bar rocky.
Yeah.
I love that piano lick when it comes in.
Yeah.
And let them see you struggle. They're going to tear you apart. You ain't never been no virgin kid. You were fucked from the start.
I
that's a good
love
one.
that
Yeah.
line.
He has another one. There's a line on the In a Small Body from Local Business that's kind of similar. You're gonna get your chance. This is from memory. I'm a big Titus fan, guys. You're gonna get your chance to be hung. You'll make a great gift to gracious girls, but try to swallow while you're still young. Your dick's too short to fuck the world.
Bars.
Yeah, that is a fucking bar, man. My man Patty Stacks.
Poetry.
Yeah.
Patty Stacks on the
Oh,
mic.
Patty Stack.
This next song, it might be my favorite.
Whoa, we're halfway there.
Whoa.
Zach's
Pissing
got a
in the
bit. Well, no, hey now. What's going on over here?
We haven't done we haven't done that in a long time. It used to be a thing. That's how we
Nonsense
introduced
knob.
every bit because we did them halfway. Throwback. Yes, this is a bit I would like to bring to you all. I have entitled it Tony Mock Pro Skater. This is going to be a guessing game where I'm going to give one of you a very famous guitar lick in your headphones from the titular Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 soundtrack.
From 3.
3.
Oh, I got you.
Amazing.
That's like how I got into like that was my first intro to pop or like to punk music was like that soundtrack like on my brother's PlayStation 2. Oh my
Wow.
God. Anyways,
I played 4 the most. 4
Sure.
was my first one. I went back and played 3 more, but 4 and Underground are like the core of my Tony Hawk fandom.
Underground was so
Amazing.
good. That's the one we could get off the skateboard and like spray paint stuff.
Eric Sparrow.
So good,
That's the one where you have
Muska,
legs.
chilling.
So I thought this would be fitting for our punk album we chose.
Perfect.
And so then you have to mock the guitar song. So you can't say any words. You just have to guitar, hero, air guitar, the song part. And the other guests have to guess
Well, you
what
can,
song it
You
is.
can also use your mouth. So it kind of goes like. Kind of like that. And there's like really heavy. It's like.
There's an AFI song on the soundtrack. Is it the AFI?
It's the AFI song.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Holy shit.
Something Halloween.
The boy who destroyed the world.
Oh, okay. Is it on an album about Halloween? Okay.
Maybe. Yeah, there's a scarecrow on that.
Okay.
Oh, dude, I haven't heard this in forever.
Yeah.
Big AFI head over here.
I love that.
All right, Dan, you're up next.
Okay. Okay, you ready for this?
I
Yeah.
think so.
That was good. You put the vocal melody in there. Yeah.
I kind of slid it in there, but yeah.
Okay.
recognize
Any
it.
thoughts? Have you listened to the soundtrack recently?
This is one that's like on a bunch of my playlists and stuff too. So
So here's the thing.
yeah,
Is it the replacements? Is it?
no.
No,
It's
they're
not
actually. I don't think
replacements.
they're on the soundtrack for 3.
I thought Jimmy Eat World for like 2 shakes, but I don't think that's correct. I think it's Green Day.
I think Green Day probably took influence from these guys.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
close.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. So like the Ramones
Black
or some
Flag.
shit. Oh, that's a good guess.
This is.
Oh, they've been in the similar scenes.
Yeah.
Black Flag.
Shit.
Yeah.
Who is it?
This is Amoeba by
shit.
The Adolescents.
Amoeba.
Wow. But you did a good rendition.
Yeah, they did. You really did. All right, up next is Garrison. You ready for this, Garrison?
Hell yeah. Do 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 do
Ace of Spades.
Yes.
That's a great one.
The Ace of Spades.
The song.
Iconic.
I've done so many fake kickflips to this soundtrack. like,
You can almost do a real one now.
I pressed X so many thousands of times while listening to these songs. I love it.
Yeah.
All right, Sarah.
Yes.
Bliss Creek Bop.
Thank you.
A
I
classic.
think we've played that too.
Really?
Have we played that?
No, we played a different Ramones song. Well, not live, but we tried.
All right, one more.
Have we gotten 3 points so far?
I think so.
We've
I think
done
Dan's
pretty
gotten 3
well.
points.
Yeah.
Well, hey, we're on a team.
That's true. Yeah, teamwork makes the
Kumbaya.
dream work.
All right.
Yeah.
Number last. There you go, Dan.
Pretty much. And then there's like,
What'd you say? It goes.
it's not Master of Puppets. It was like going, it's trying to go up. It's going up the scale, not.
It's so
all.
close to giving like yakety sax. Like it's really close to. I don't think I know this one. What do you think, Garrison?
Oh, I don't know.
I
I have no idea.
What are some bands? I bet it's Steely Dan.
It's dirty word.
Honestly, that'd be a vibe for a Tony Hawk.
I don't know. Dan, do you even know it? It's Guttermouth. I didn't
No,
know
that
this
one I don't
I
remember.
don't know gutter.
I was just listening to this and I
You
was
haven't
like,
heard
that's
I'm a Guttermouth?
Oh,
Their titular track.
off their self-titled album, Guttermouth.
Like, I know I
Well, it's
remember
very
hearing
scary.
it.
I thought maybe it was like NoFX or something.
Yeah.
Again, you did a great rendition.
Did you see that video of Tony Hawk going to that concert?
Yes. That's what
Yeah,
inspired
it's
this game.
fucking awesome.
All right. Well, thank you for playing Tony Mock Pro Skater.
So the one I was hoping you were going to play was 96 Quake Bitter Beings.
Oh.
Keep going.
What's it called?
96 Quite Bitter Beings.
Sounds like our next cover.
Dude, I would love to. The riff is super hard.
Really?
Yeah.
Like hard to play, or it goes hard?
Both.
Okay.
The thing is, this was the soundtrack to all the CKY movies. So all the Bam Margera movies had like this song in it. This is like, I grew up on these like movies and Bam stuff. So.
Yeah.
Very cool.
This is all making sense now.
Also, self-plug, there is a playlist on the Damager Spotify account called Dan Stew's Pro Skater. And it's a bunch of songs from Tony Hawk Pro Skater soundtracks and things that I wanted.
This game was for you.
Yeah, I know. When you said that, I was like, hello.
I don't think either of us knew that
No, we didn't.
beforehand.
That's fantastic.
I'm very proud of it. I listen to it when I go running and stuff. It's awesome.
Yeah,
That's
I'm gonna listen to
amazing.
it. I love
Yeah.
the Tony Hawk Pro Skater soundtrack.
Fuck yes.
That's so good.
Should we take a quick refill / pee time?
I think we should.
before
I
we
do
get
need a
back
pee-pee
I need a
into
pot
it?
in which to piss.
Oh, I do too.
Oh,
More than
I
you.
have a pot, a sink, and a shower.
I'll take the
Oh
shower.
my.
Whatever you'd like.
Are there any alleys nearby?
Yes.
Out the window. Yeah.
So this is a war we can't win. 4-7 is the next song. This is another one of the very long middle songs,
Yeah.
but also a song that has like 4 songs in it.
Mm-hmm.
They're the two sections that they've identified in the liner notes are 4 and 7. Those are the two. This one has the "You Won't Be Laughing So Hard" section. I love that. This also has the there's like a breakdown that feels like kind of reggae vibes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like strings on this. I really like this one.
It's a nice change of pace.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of really interesting, and I don't know if this is like exactly where this is being drawn from, but I think sometimes you can make the connection. But a lot of this feels like a reflection on their first release and like the success of it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this is one of the songs that really, I don't know, like, is a good example of that. Like, Christ Fuck Me If I Can Remember When, Will I Ever Be Lonely Again, feels very like, my album is a big success. I'm on the road all the fucking time. I'm in a van with my bandmates all the fucking time. I'm playing shows every night. Like, surrounded by people. When's the next time I'm going to be lonely?
I think it's the most definitive of the quote that I pulled earlier about his
Yeah.
idea of the theme about people defining themselves by their opposition.
Mm-hmm.
And the incredible coda of the "It's Still Us Against Them."
Yeah.
You know, they have so many moments on this album that are just like the epic sing along. That's just the super cathartic repeated phrase. I think I mentioned this earlier about like punk music. Like the epitome of it is like simple sentiments that are brought to life in complex ways, and that is definitely happening here. As well as like, you know, you will always be a loser. Just like saying it a lot, and you know, really feeling those words out.
Yeah.
And this one does that very well.
Yeah, I think if I had to sum it up in a word for, I mean, the whole record has this, but like I feel like it's very defiant. Like in this one, it's very obvious that he's like, life sucks, things suck. But like at the end of the song, it ends with, but I wasn't born to die like a dog. I was born to die just like a man. And then he repeats, I was born to die just like a man, which I think is indicative of like, I don't know. We talked about it in his future records, then getting a little bit more positive, especially on the last Titus record, feeling a little more positive. And I think there's something deep seated there through all of his lyrics. They're kind of more digging into that.
Yeah, it's all a part of that. Again, the internal war stuff. He also identifies it as being us against them. At least, you know, there's a community there, right? I think there's a version of this that's like acoustic on YouTube.
Oh.
Where he does it with Owen Pallett, who's like a violinist strings guy that consulted on a lot of the like classical instrumentation and engineering on this record. And I know that he also worked with like Arcade Fire a lot.
Oh,
So-
I bet that hits then.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear it?
Take two, the real thing. This is a war we can't win. After After 10,000 years, it's still us against them. And my heroes have always died at.
That hits. I
Yeah.
love that.
His voice sounds really good on that.
Yeah.
You know, he's like famously only strains his voice on like all the vocals.
You gotta hear it so clean.
Yeah.
It's a nice change of pace.
That's nice. There's that line, my heroes have only ever died at the end. That reminds me, there's also like, there's the line from, I think it's More Perfect Union, where he says, this city deserves a better classic criminal. I'm going to give him tonight. Like, it's a Dark Knight reference. Like, amongst all of these, like allusions to Shakespeare and Abraham Lincoln. There's like one Batman thing in there.
Sure.
Yeah.
This next one is so fun.
Let's get into
I
it.
like
Sorry, Mom.
I like the idea of taking a theme song and making it a punk song instead.
Is this okay? So I've never actually seen this show. Cheers.
It's
Is
an
there
ironic title.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, is there any element of that actual theme song woven into here?
I read that it was just like a couple of the lyrics kind of look like they could have been changed from the lyrics of the theme song
I
Cheers.
see. I see.
Yeah, because the actual theme song from the TV show Cheers is the
Don't
Is it where-
you wanna go where everybody
Okay.
knows your name?
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I think that is appropriate
Mm-hmm.
given the content of the lyrics here. Well, part one, let's start there, is titled The Hungover Mass.
Mm-hmm.
It is kind of no secret that this song is laden with ethanol. There's a lot of drinking here.
Yeah.
Laden with ethanol.
Yeah.
Very good. Very Patrick Stickles-esque of you.
Thank you. And I have this is where our pairing comes from, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
This is one that I can totally sing from memory. Like I have a memory of being with my friends in either like probably when I was like around 20 or something, and us drinking and like being able to sing this song together, like just without like hearing it or anything. I love that, and this is one where he incorporates vocals from other people, like trading and getting the other perspective from the guy. I'm sorry, mama, that part. Like, I love it.
Yeah, it's interesting. It kind of gives like drinking song with your buddies, but also like guy at the end of the bar who's like woefully dumping on the bartender. I don't know. There's this kind of this tension between like camaraderie and feeling like you're a fuck up.
Yeah, I think that's super fair.
Yeah.
So, hey, Andy, let's turn into dirty old men, close down the bar every night at the Glen Rock Inn, talk about our grandkids as we stroke our gray beards. Funny we're still doing car bombs after all of these years.
Thanks for not, by the way. Thank you so
Thank
much
you
for
kindly.
not picking a car bomb as our pairing.
Yeah.
I think that would
or a
have been
kegger.
or a kegger.
I really dig the line here. If you got something that you can't live with, save it for another day.
Is that therapeutic advice?
What kind of just sounds like they're like suppressing some emotions, right? If you can't
Totally.
live with it, just wait for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
I'm going to put the devil inside of me asleep if it takes all night.
Yeah.
That's a great line.
Yeah. There's a lot of like, was Patrick the one writing most of these lyrics?
I think he is the sole like writer.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is insane to me that there's this level of like grizzle in a 24-year-old's lyricism.
Yeah.
Like this is like an old coot, like writing these
A
songs.
wise soul.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like a Tom Waits grit.
Yes, absolutely.
I think this is another one of their songs where it's like, I feel like I aspire to write like this with our music for sure.
Yeah, the influences come through. It's got like a call to action about drinking in it, just
Yeah.
like us.
Yeah.
Does this one tell you to crush a can on your head or no?
I think spiritually it does.
Okay.
I mean, don't you feel like doing it right now?
I kind of do.
I do have a glass
do.
bottle.
No, there's the
and a
line. So let's get
pistol.
fucked up. Let's pretend we're all okay. If you've got
Those are basically lines I just stole.
Oops.
Those are real lines from Cheers, I'm pretty sure. Actually.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Don't you want to go where everybody gets fucked up?
And pretends it's all okay.
You guys should put
Which
that
is
line
actually
in the
what that
song.
show's about.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I also like this passage. When I'm an old man, I can be the quiet type, and I can go without a moment of fun for the rest of my life. I can read a good book, and I can be in bed by 10. I can get up early, go to work, come home, and start it all over again.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
The fantasy of not being beholden to alcohol.
Yeah.
I really like this next one. If we're ready to go on, Two Old Friends and New.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
First time I've heard this album was 2 weeks ago. And it instantly feels nostalgic when you hit this one. I think
Can we
it's
just play it from the jump?
I think it's just because that's what Billy Joel has done to me with piano music.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll play it from the get-go.
You have got a lot of nerve to behave the way that you do, making me listen to all of your careless.
So nice.
So now I'm remembering from the show, they played Theme from Cheers as a piano ballad.
Oh.
And then I think it led into this. It was very different. It was almost like I was like, I'm ready to fucking yell the let's get fucked up stuff. But I think there was an element of like, I think them being older and reflecting on that song and maybe like feeling like it maybe got lost in translation or something, you know, as a satire in a way. And so he wanted to like strip it back and kind of recontextualize it a little bit.
I'm into that.
Yeah. But I was like, man, I want to fucking rage. But then it goes into this, which is like probably the most straight ballad in a way. But yeah, that first verse already, it's like, again, points to the theme of this introspective like war with yourself, because this is the one where he's attacking his own privilege, I think, and his like, you're not the only one who thinks life is cruel. And then brings in the female vocalist to sing. And I remember from an interview about the album A Productive Cough, there's a song on there that's entirely sung by a female vocalist. And it's called Crass Tattoo, which there's a English punk band called Crass. And they had an album called Penis Envy. And it was all female vocals for a band that was traditionally like an all-male punk band, I believe.
Interesting.
Nice.
And
Very Freudian.
Yeah, exactly. But it was about like letting, you know, women have a voice in punk music and like and trying to transcend and recontextualize the kind of stuff he's doing. And I think that it's like really effective on this song to like, you know, he's pointing a lot of fingers on this album.
Yeah.
And this is the one where he points it back and gives someone else the voice to do it.
Yeah,
It's really
that's Jen Wesner from the indie folk duo Y Oak.
Yes,
Nice.
it is.
And let's listen to it for a
Come
little
on,
bit.
Jen.
She was also in the documentary.
Oh,
She
cool.
sure is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a nice change of pace to introduce her here, especially.
Are any of the folks in this room familiar with the Connor Oberst and Phoebe Bridgers project, Better Oblivion Community Center? This felt like the blueprint. Like, I don't know. That is what really, like, struck a chord for me listening to it. The vocal delivery of both of these people. I don't know if this song is necessarily intended to, like, be a duet.
Yeah.
But I was listening to this and they were like, it just felt a ghostly similarity between
that's a
the
good
two.
point.
Also, Cameron, can we get another pee-pee poo-poo counter for So It's All Right the Way You Piss and Moan? They say it twice. It's all right the way you piss and moan. Thank you.
I've been particularly into the male-female duet style lately. So we have one song on the first record called Liquor Song, which is a duet. And it was my friend Maddie who did it. Then at our most recent show, I had Ava from Pink Squeeze come up and do it with me. And it was like really fucking cool.
Hell yeah.
And I've also been listening to these country records at work of like, you know, George Jones and Tammy Wynette or Loretta Lynn and Conway Twitty and stuff. And I'm like, I fucking love this. Like, why aren't more people do this? Or
It's
like,
fun.
yeah. Or Better Oblivion Community Center is really good.
Yeah.
And like, now I'm listening to this. I'm like, man, we got to do more of that. We gotta get some of that going.
Yeah, there's a certain rawness to it.
Yeah.
And it's just nice. It's like texturally interesting and something that definitely doesn't happen a lot in punk music.
And I think especially for an album, I mean, there's so much music here. This is like an hour of music front and back, this whole album. So to have these moments that are truly like something different and to have like sort of pinpoints in different songs that make the album memorable, I think is an asset.
Totally. Super dynamic. And again, like 24 years old.
24! Are you
It's
fucking
amazing.
kidding?
This might be the Citizen Kane of albums. It's like how the fuck did he do this? Like,
Yes.
where it makes you feel embarrassed. You're like, oh shit, what am I doing?
I think also the paradox that is introduced, I was reading up on this a little bit. There's like a paradox, right? In Jen Wesner's verse. Like the time traveler who killed his grandfather. These cycles are bringing me down. So let me walk you through this, right? There's this time traveler. And for whatever reason, the time traveler has to go back in time and kill his grandfather. But if he's successful in that, the time traveler will never exist. So
Then he'll never go back and kill his grandfather.
exactly. So it's just like this Ouroboros, right? Like, I don't know. I just think it's such a like a poetic and like interesting lyric.
Yeah, the way around it is to become your grandfather.
Whoa.
And that's what Marty McFly was trying to do
There
in episode
we
2.
go.
There you
Thank you.
There's a Futurama episode about this as well. But yeah, that's a really great verse. That one, like listening to that just now, was like really particularly cutting for me. I was like, am I too fucked up to understand? Are you too fucked up to understand me? Or is it the other way around? Maybe it's both and I don't know which is worse.
24.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
English
That's like
major.
divorcee territory.
Yeah, these lyrics are very like.
How
you
many
think he was
breakups have
married.
you had at 24?
Right.
What if he gets a divorce from his current wife and makes the best album of all time? We can only hope. Oh no! Oh no!
I am not praying on that down.
He's gonna listen to this podcast now and be like, "Oh yeah, they're not
He's like,
opening."
oh,
for
they're
me."
not going to open for me. I think my favorite passage is it's all right to kill and it's all right to steal if you're willing to hold up your part of the deal. There are plenty of things that are worth dying for, but you'll never know until you open that door. And I don't know what that means particularly, but ever since I heard this song for the first time, that like really stood out to me for some reason. It's like it's such a profound sense of kind of like purpose or mortality, and I don't know. It that one strikes me in particular.
Yeah.
All right, so we got 2 left. We're almost there.
Hell yeah.
Oh,
Now
swag.
it's time for Ska Dick Dale, baby.
Scotty Dale.
Is it ska because there is a horn solo, or no?
No.
It's
That was quick.
Are you sure?
we were
That was
quick on the
really
draw.
quick, Garrison. How do you feel about ska? Please tell us.
There's no syncopation. It doesn't count.
yeah, you gotta pick it
Yeah.
up.
You gotta pick it up.
for
That's
ska.
true.
Yeah.
You got to be able to skank to it. You can't skank to this one.
King of Ska is the ska version that we're gonna do of the EP.
Oh, nice. We're gonna do some
I think
of that
the people are
Jeff
demanding it.
Rosenstock
I think
shit.
you should. I think you should do that.
There's the horn, the sax solo and the pianos and stuff. It's like hyperspeed brings Springsteen.
Yeah.
I almost said Springsteen. Spruce Springsteen, you know him?
Spruce Springsteen.
Spruce
I like
Springsteen.
that.
Love his
Next
work.
band name.
That totally sounds like that's totally a folk punk artist on
Yeah.
Bandcamp.
Yes.
Spruce Springsteen.
Yes.
Spruce Springsteen and the Truth of the Root.
They're
Crust
Oh
of
my
the root.
god! I just had a
I
moment
like
with that.
We referenced this, or we alluded to this, I guess, earlier, talking about how there was a reprise. The song is called And Ever, and it is a reprise of Titus Andronicus. Oh my god, I keep saying that.
That's the one where they have all the female
Titus
vocals.
Yes.
Andronicus. Titus Andronicus forever, ... and ever.
Oh.
Cute, cheeky,
Wait.
wink.
Do you have to say it and ever? Like if you just say endeavor, you're pronouncing it wrong.
Yeah, no, you have to like make sure the room knows that you've like
That there's
started.
an ellipses there.
Yeah.
And now our next track.
Endeavor.
He was an English major. He knew what he did there.
He knew.
It's hard to get away with that stuff, you know?
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about our last song, which is actually our last 3 songs, right?
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
Yes.
14 minutes. And it deserves to be. Like,
Yeah.
it needs to be 14. I would be upset if it was any other way.
Battle of Hampton Roads.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Battle of Hampton Roads was actually a naval battle. There was no roads involved in this battle.
True. And it
Rivers.
involved the Monitor.
Dun dun dun.
Oh, I didn't catch this, as that's a boat, I assume.
So the Battle of Hampton Roads was the first battle to include ironclad warships. And the Monitor was the Union's ironclad ship, and it fought against the Confederate States. Virginia was the name. It was like kind of a stalemate. Like they weren't powerful enough to like hurt each other. Well, so ultimately the Union was successful. I do remember that they like the ships didn't destroy each other or anything. So it was a very important historic battle. But when you think about it, like, isn't that the theme of the album? Internal war. They didn't They didn't ultimately destroy each other. They were just,
Nothing happened.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel very strongly about this song.
Tell me more.
The lyrics of this song, the lyricism and the amount of like quotable phrases and things in here is extensive. I have like wanted to get a print done that just had all the lyrics from this song because I just like love them so much. It's such a like incredible cap to this record.
Yeah.
I mean, Garrison mentioned the one earlier, and it's something that stuck out to me today because I'm like, wow, this really is me. Is the and half the time I open my mouth to speak, it's to repeat something that I heard on TV, and I've destroyed everything that wouldn't make me more like Bruce Springsteen.
That's a great
That
line.
is me. Like as someone who is pursuing an MFA in film and television, and who like experiences the world through references to music and movies and pop culture, and also loves Bruce Springsteen and has like, you know, covered Bruce Springsteen live with my band and like just idolized him and stuff. It's just like, it feels so incredibly personal. And it's a very self-defeating phrase. So
It's like, I've never had an original thought.
Yeah. But you know, in the same vein of like all this stuff on this album, that's just about like really trying to understand yourself and your identity and what your purpose and your meaning is, and at times finding it and feeling really joyful, and then other times being just completely miserable and just like that conflict, that war.
How do you guys feel about this lyric here in the first one? There's a way to live the values your forefathers gave you. Be prepared to be told that's gay, dude.
That's another one that's like the Dark Knight lyric, where it's like it's so contemporary in a way that it's like it finds it's a very like meaningful like place of like being different from everything else.
Yeah.
And it feels so like 2008. You know,
Yes.
it's like
how the word gay was used in 2008.
100%.
but that feels so authentic to me.
Yeah.
Like, and having grown up in suburban St. Louis, Missouri, and like that kind of like language is something that I feel like was encountered, you know?
100%.
I also think it's really punk rock that they're like, yeah, don't value your forefathers, like America bad.
Can we also get another point on the pee poo poo counter for, and the majority of Earth will have no other recourse but to shiver and shake and make shit in their shorts.
That's a great rhyme
It's
scheme.
It's
fucking
really
incredible
good.
one.
It's
Fantastic.
really, it's part of, it feels like it's part of a soliloquy. Like, it's really lovely.
This part of the podcast is just me repeating lines that I love.
Yeah, no, it's...
The devil ain't hard to see without craning your neck.
yeah, that was great.
There's he'll be 70 some inches tall. He'll be chugging a beer. He'll be grabbing his balls. He's a remote explosive waiting for someone to call. He's just 18 for now, but he's going to murder us all. That's the most angsty shit.
Yes.
I love it.
I think the one thing that we maybe haven't even touched on at all that I feel like is pretty pronounced throughout the entire record is like this like toxic masculinity and this like anger
Yes.
towards it.
Yeah.
There's this, I think Leor Galil, he writes for the Chicago Reader and a few others. I think he wrote this like Japan Droids piece. I don't know if you've read it, but it's about like bands that are like that and like this, and who write these like lyrics that are really like, I don't know, straining against that.
Yeah.
And like kind of the way that they grew up. And I feel like I just super connect with that. Like growing up, Dan and I both grew up in St. Louis. And I think we both maybe had similar experiences in who we were like hanging out with and what we were surrounded by. And yeah, like the shit's gay dude line is like just it like so much, I don't know, captures, I feel like, my youth and my upbringing and the people who I kind of was surrounded by and who were informing me at the time. And I was like, I don't know, just the angst towards that and anger towards that and wanting to break free from that. Yeah, I don't know. This song, I think, it just super hits me, and the fact that it ends with the instrumental that I know we're getting to is
The
just
bagpipes.
like
Oh,
absolutely
man.
awesome.
Was this article anti-Japan droids?
No, it was pro Japan
Okay.
droids. It was basically talking. It was basically talking like there are lots of bands in the scene who are like these like dude rock bands, like this idea of like dude rock, and people like there's a lot of like toxic dude rock out there, but there are also these bands out there that are like against the grain, pushing against that, and kind of like pointing a finger at it. I think Titus Andronicus falls very cleanly in that.
Totally.
And yeah, it's like an introspective record about growing up as a guy in the United States. And I think like I can really connect with a lot of what he's talking about.
Yeah.
I think most guys probably could. So again, if you haven't heard the record, you should listen.
Yeah.
It's funny because like the thing I would say, like Japan Droids is another band that has like multiple records that I'm like, you know, in love with and are like formative for me. And their stuff is similar to this in the sense that it's like influenced by classic rock. There's a lot of stuff that's about like, let's have a good time, let's party. And they do it in like a literary way and stuff. And, you know, it's this thing that I try to achieve in my songwriting, or I hope to, or aspire to, because, you know, really there's only so much stuff, you know, or like, I don't know, this is just me, but like, I feel like there's only so many things I want to or feel like I can write about in a sense that feels authentic or feels interesting at all, because it's like, you know, also the thing that I've grown up a lot on is emo music, and a lot of emo music is girls hate me, and like you know, it's just like I'm not really totally interested in writing that, or at least I don't think it's like a valid thing to write about in some ways. So like, you know, for me, it's like then the content kind of becomes like, let's have a good time. Like the King of Scots like idea is, you know, not satirical as like Theme from Cheers is, but like there's elements of that are like, I mean, I wrote that from a positive perspective. And I just like, I wanted to write music that wasn't, you know, like, you know, Patrick Stickles can write about self-loathing in like a really profound way, but I don't know if I can yet, but we'll see.
I think he can.
Yeah. I mean, there's some emo lyrics on there, like, you know, but anyway, this Japan Droids and Titus like really accomplished this kind of sentiment. And that's why another thing that I really connect with about it. So yeah, and this is like one of the best ones about it, because it's like this passage that also always sticks out to me is, so now when I drink, I'm going to drink to excess. And when I smoke, I will smoke gaping holes in my chest. And when I scream, I will scream till I'm gasping for breath. And when I get sick, I will stay sick for the rest of my days, peddling hate out of the back of a Chevy Express. You had a Chevy Express line in a song that you wrote.
Yeah, I took that from Titus.
Nice. That Titus shit.
Is that Titus shit?
That's hard to say.
Well, one of you read the next line for me, please.
Each one a fart in the face of your idea of success. Does that count?
Yeah, Cameron.
I
can you-
think it
think
does.
we get a count on the
get a
pee pee
ding
poo
for the
counter.
pee-pee-poo-poo.
I can't believe Patrick, if you're listening, we are not trying to reduce your writing to
No, not
people
at all.
counters. Come on, bro. Like, what's going on here?
It's a fun. I want the folks who are listening to this episode to continue listening to see what our final tally is.
Yeah.
I think it's a fun
And we
thread.
prefaced it that they were lyrical pee-pee poo-poos. They
Yes,
were well
they're
done.
poetic
They're
pee-pee-poo-poos.
fantastic. Yeah.
Yes.
And the way people know how to cuss, Patrick knows how to pee-pee poo-poo.
Yes.
Totally.
Thank you.
It's part of his language.
Yeah. He's
And then I guess I'll finish that verse too.
yeah.
If this be thy will, then fucking pass me the cup. And I'm sorry, Dad. No, I'm not making this up.
Ooh.
That's true angst.
Oh man.
Anytime you point to your dad, it's like,
Oh man.
Invoke
Not
the
a
father.
face, Dad.
Oof.
We put a bagpipe on our EP, and I can't act like it was not partially inspired by this. I mean, it was also, you know, in the theme of the EP about my Scottish heritage and like all, you know, but like also the you know, we were like, dude, we need to put a fucking bagpipe on this thing.
Who
Like,
played it? Who played the bagpipe?
oh, it was virtual.
Okay. I was curious.
Cut
fine.
that. I played it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's like strings and horns and stuff in there too. And I mean, that's like, I don't know. For me, I love going nuts with production sometimes.
Yeah.
And ultimately, like, I tried to keep things tight to just like, we're 3 people.
Yeah.
We play the 3 instruments that we play. But like every now and then I'm like, I can't resist putting
I feel like
horns in.
if you didn't know bagpipe, I wouldn't know the difference than if you did know bagpipe.
I agree.
I saw a video. So like, I think that was also in that interview article with Patrick about how like he felt like this album was so expansive and had so many instruments and stuff, and that he intentionally stopped writing like that and wanted to write stuff that was all like live to tape, and which is the sentiment I'm kind of expressing about like how in general I would like to stick to us being 3 people with 3 instruments, but there's also this tendency of me that I'm like, oh man, we can go nuts. We can go totally Hampton Roads on the end of this.
Hell yeah.
Well, the
Yeah,
songs
song.
naturally, like, they lend themselves to that. As you
Yeah.
start to build them, because they're all, I mean, every song we do is over 160 BPM. So, like, you're like, oh, yeah, at this point, it's going to get huge. There's like
Yeah.
10 guitars. And so restraint is a virtue.
Well, and also like I think my sensibility is that I also come from a film background, and there's like for me, it's like it's the third act. It has to go
Yeah.
nuts,
It's gotta
like
do
Yeah.
something.
the end of the song should go crazy. Like
Yes.
And there's still 5 more minutes left after
Yes.
this. This whole album's a journey.
I don't think Titus has ever played that song with an actual bagpipe. I would register that guess.
Yeah. It's really hard
but-
to do.
Yeah, because I know that they like when they toured it and stuff. I mean, even when they played it at Sub T, it's like it was still like a 5-piece band. It wasn't,
Yeah.
there wasn't violinists and stuff. But I have seen a video of a Titus Andronicus cover band who I think were from like UIC or something, and they had a bagpipe player playing the solo. And it was the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. And I want to meet these people.
Yes.
Imagine somebody like rolling up to the stage with a bagpipe and start ripping. You would be like, like the fingers are coming out, with the
Yup.
the wiggly fingers for the solo.
As they should. Any last comments on this track? I know it's probably impossible to sum up without doing like another hour on it.
I was,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, this one song could be an entire podcast.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But that, like, the guitar part that comes in after that bagpipe, it's like da 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 da. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is just the most powerful thing. Like, it's definitely like a march. Yeah.
Is this it?
Yeah, it's like, it's just incredible.
We need a lead guitarist. Damn.
Yeah.
Tommy Kessler, where you at?
Yeah.
I was busy with okay, cool.
Guitar solos are overrated. No, they're not. I love
No,
guitar
if you've
solos.
listened to
I'm a
our
big
podcast
slut for
at
guitar
all.
solos.
Well, do we have any concluding thoughts about this album in general before we give it a rubber
if you've
ski?
listened to this episode and not listened to this record, like take a Sunday evening,
Yes.
like pour wine or a Guinness.
Yes.
Nothing else to do. Just absorb it.
I
Just
will say-
get into it.
From personal experience, maybe don't smoke weed before you listen to this album. Because I did do that and got a little scared. But definitely pour Guinness. Like, that's a great move.
It is well worth your time, absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't do it high.
This
Don't
is like
do it high.
this is more of an end of work on a Friday. Like, you're about to go out with your
Yes.
buddies or something kind of
Yeah.
record.
Oh, I meant to say this earlier, and this is also something I talk about on the podcast from time to time. But I took this album on the transit test, which
A
just
very
means I
important
like
test.
listen to it on the bus. Excellent.
Yes.
This would be an excellent, like, if you have like a good pair of commuting headphones and you've had a day, put this on your commute, girl. It's excellent for that.
I did that today. I rode the, I went down to the Loop for some business.
Of course.
And I, listened to it on the way up there and back, and yeah, it was perfect.
It's really good.
It's really loud for the most part,
Yes.
so that's good for the commute. My only closing thoughts would be that, like, I feel like this album does everything I want music to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's very thoughtful, but it also fucking rocks, and it's cathartic, and it gets me into some introspective, some introspection.
Yeah.
It's just a complete package, and I also, I really love, like, his vocals. They're just shredding. He believes it in every little syllable, and I just, like, really respect that when someone can do that. I find that I really worship performers and people that can just, like, fucking live the music and just breathe it out and, like,
just wear it on their sleeve. Right?
Yeah. And, like, it's got all the hallmarks and like, iconography of classic rock, but it's still contemporary and new and I don't know, it's everything for me. So I, like, that's why we aspire so much to, like, emulate them and sometimes do Titus shit. And yeah, it's just like I totally love it.
That's huge. Thank you guys for bringing such a cool record to the show.
Yeah,
That's
seriously. Awesome. I am very glad that this is now, like, on my radar.
I think Dan summed it up really nicely. I mean, there's raw emotion on this record, but if I could just leave with a final story of listening to this record.
Yeah, please.
Remember, so again, I didn't listen to this record until I was into, like, young adulthood, living in Chicago anyway. And I remember going home to visit family, and I had this record on. I didn't realize my mom was home. And I remember her, like, walking, like, what the hell is this? And so not only does it pass the transit test, it also passed, like, does it freak out your parents? So it does that. And I think that's really important. So
good.
Yeah.
That's very funny.
So many core memories around this. I honestly, like I said, like, the singing theme from Cheers with my friends, like, moshing to the second A More Perfect Union. I remember one, like, this was, like, the comfort album that I put on after a breakup driving home from college.
Sure.
And, like, the line that came just, like, making me, like, break was if I come in on a donkey, let me go out on a gurney. I don't know, like, stuff like that. Like, there's so many sentiments there, and, like, it's so dense, and it's just like, nothing but vibes, nothing but positive feelings here.
Yeah. This one is absolutely worth your time. And I think we should award it with a Robrewski.
It's also worth a Robrewski.
And the Robrewski for the Poet's Pee-Pee Poo-Poo Potpourri is awarded to Titus Andronicus for The Monitor.
We gotta have Dan on more often.
Yeah,
that was
that's
fantastic.
really, really good. Folks, goodness gracious, thank you for making it through another episode. We are Album Reviews, and we will continue being Album Reviews. If you want to check us out on Twitter or Instagram, it is at Album Reviews. And if you want to take a look at our website where we have a form to submit yourself to be a guest, it is www.albumreviews.com.
Giant thank you to Cameron Bopp for editing our show and writing our theme song. You can find him at CamBop17 on Twitch and Twitter. You can hire him to write your theme song or be the sound guy at your set if you're okay, cool. A giant thank you to you, the listener, for hanging out with us for 54 episodes. We appreciate you. And we'll see you at 55 next time. And lastly, another big thank you to Garrison Krutz and Dan Stewart of the Chicago band Damager. They are a Lake Punk Chicago band, and they're awesome. You can check them out on November 28th at Shuba's. Be there or be a rhombus. Also, check out their newest EP, The King of Scots, and check them out on social media, Damager CHI.
That's for Chicago.
That's for Chicago. That's where we are.
Yeah.
Anything you guys want to say to the folks before we hop off here?
Thanks for listening.
We always appreciate it. And listen to The Monitor if you haven't.
Yeah.
And come out to Shuba's. It's a very, very big show. It's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of rocking, a lot of punking. And, you'll have a good time. They have Schlitz in the big tall glass.
Ooh.
Perfect. I need no other
That's reason enough, yeah.
You can pair a tall glass Schlitz with the King of Scots for your album rebrew when you're a fan and you come on the show. Anyway, thank you.
Okay, so to conclude, this is the part of the show where we get very, 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 very close to the mic. we'll just say a quiet and tender good night or a goodbye to the person listening at home. So, goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Good night, darling.
Oh yeah.